We often talk about disparities from one part of the district to another, whether it's in the classes that are available, in the facilities physically that are available. How serious an issue do you see that, and what would you do to address it?
Disparity is at the forefront of this sub-district race in the North End. The North End has land fear, which I do believe is not a priority of the school district right now, and it needs to be. We have a lot of elementary schools that need to have assistance, and North End lost its middle school. The North End kids go to Washington. So there is huge disparity when it comes to my North End neighborhoods. And I've been talking to countless people about this, and they agree with us that we need to make the North End a priority for the district. We need to work with all of our schools throughout Springfield, but there is disparity, and we need to alleviate that.
And just to clarify again, and I know you've talked about finding waste and things like that, but how long a range process are we talking about here to be able to do this? And what do things have to be taken away from other areas to have more resources for the North End?
No. What it comes down to is we need to be smarter with what we're doing. I don't think we should take from one child to give to another child. We need to ensure that all of our children are getting the resources that they deserve. How long is it going to take? I don't know. But I tell you, I'm getting tired of seeing the school board come up with long-term plans that don't get carried out. We need to get a plan together, a strategy that's going to work to improve our schools, and we need to carry out that plan.
Blake Handley, to you, the question about disparity in both services and facilities for North End schools versus other parts of town?
Yes, obviously it is there. When you look at the city of Springfield as a whole, the west side looks more promising than other areas. There is disparity. The issue of transfers has been brought up and been hammered on pretty heavily here lately. And the argument of how children get into the schools of Lincoln Magnet and Ball Charter. We need to look at this as a whole and say, it's just like the city of Springfield. Every area needs to be addressed. Every area needs to be given what they should to do the best that they can with what they have to work with. When you look at the east side of Springfield, and their schools, they're kind of looked down upon in some areas. And you look at the North End, we have McFarland that's doing great to address the issues that they have and what they're trying to accomplish. We do have, per se, Lincoln Magnet is kind of in our area, but with the college prep program when it was set up, Washington Middle School lost a lot of good kids. But, we can't hammer on that because, these kids were given an opportunity to do better, and we have to support the parents and the students in wanting to do better. But, it did hurt their numbers.
You raised an issue I hadn't thought about asking, but I want to bring it up now since you mentioned it, and that's to do with transfers, because there was certainly, and has been for a long time, a phenomenon of people feeling like their neighborhood school or their area school wasn't up to snuff, so they wanted to move to a different school. The district's really clamped down on that in the last year or so. Should that policy be loosened to make it easier for, say, a Lanphier student who doesn't feel like they have the resources that they need to be able to transfer over to Springfield, for example?
No, I feel that, the clamp should still be there. We don't want to lose our kids from the North End over to Springfield High or to Southeast, and as vice versa, Southeast doesn't want to lose their kids. When you look at our high schools as a whole, Springfield High does stand out. They have the parent involvement. They have they're doing well. The kids are, when you come out to the city tournament, the kids are very much into the atmosphere and what's going on, and they're behind, they're proud of being senators, and I was stated in the paper saying I want to try to instill that into, Lanphier and into Southeast. When you look at the city as a whole, the two schools that stand out are Springfield High and they are Sacred Heart Griffin.
Scott McFarland, obviously you've talked about that it's going to take a while to be able to rectify some of these imbalances and inequities. In the meantime, should the transfer policy be loosened or should it be kept as it is currently?
No, I think it should be kept the way it is. It's actually been tightened over the past couple of years, and I agree with that. I think transfers increase the problem. What we need to do is start working to put the resources into the schools so the kids don't have to want to transfer out. And as kids start transferring out, it becomes a disparity issue again. You know, there's a waiting list, and how that waiting list is derived is still in question for some of these schools. And I don't like the idea of having even a possibility that somebody who knows somebody can get into a better school. I want to make sure that everyone goes to a school that they can be proud of. And I think they're starting to do that. I toured Lanphier with Principal Das, who's been there for almost a year now, and he is breeding an air of respect in that school. He walks the hallways. He talks to the kids. He asks them how they're doing. He asks them if they need help, and it's working. We need to give him the resources he needs to continue that work.